Large-scale changes in the domestic and international political configuration of the Middle East, dubbed the Arab Spring in popular culture, coincided with the return of Russia to world politics. In this regard, Moscow's intervention in the conflict over Syria has played a much larger role in strengthening its global position than its reaction to the coup in Ukraine or to Georgia's aggression in South Ossetia in 2008. In these two cases, Russia responded to the hostile actions of the Western countries and fought what were in fact defensive battles within the near abroad, adjacent to its sovereign territory. In the Middle East, in Syria and later Libya, Russia has demonstrated its ability to project its national interests and values far beyond the modest zone of influence it retained after the end of the Cold War. The immediate reason for Russia's intervention in Syria is well known. In the event of the fall of the legitimate government, the territory of the country would have become a zone controlled by religious extremist organizations. Most of these groups are banned in Russia and, by the nature of their ideology, would have provoked instability throughout the countries of the Middle East and its neighbors for many years. The distance between the region and Russia's borders is, in reality, insignificant. A victory for the radicals in Syria would become a reliable instrument in the hands of the United States to keep in suspense not only Washington's allies in Europe, Israel and the Gulf countries, but also to destabilize Central Asia and the Caucasus. The secular regimes of all countries in this region neighboring Russia would be under threat. It's well known that a significant number of extremist recruits from Central Asia participated in radical groups in Syria and Iraq. Thus, Russia has once again fulfilled its mission as the main supplier of security for the states of the southern part of the former USSR and, indirectly, China. Despite the fact that for Moscow, such a mission was difficult and costly, it was also inevitable due to the geographical proximity of these countries to the industrial centers of Russia and Siberia. Moreover, helping the Central Asian countries counter external challenges is a tool Russia uses to avoid the temptation to return to direct control over them in the interests of Russia's security. We must understand that for the United States, instability and military conflicts in the Middle East and its environs do not pose any threat to national security at all. The United States is separated from the most problematic region in the world by thousands of kilometers. Unlike Russia, China, or Europe, the Americans can look at regional processes from the point of view of a diplomatic game rather than taking steps to ensure their own security. Therefore, for Russia, preventing such a development of events by the mid-2010s was an important task in the framework of the competition between the great powers and the prevention of a hostile influence on its periphery. Moreover, by this time Russia had acquired the military and diplomatic resources to implement such a policy. The events around Ukraine in 2014 demonstrated the readiness of the armed forces to carry out complex operations. The technical equipping of the army with modern weapons was actively promoted. The operation in Syria helped Russia better understand the real tasks of the naval forces for such a continental power as Russia, given the latest advances in military technology. Russia's forceful intervention in the Middle East made it possible to significantly improve relations with the monarchies of the Persian Gulf. These states are quite archaic in terms of mentality and their ideas about the balance of power and cooperation in international affairs. As the diplomatic practice of recent years confirms, Russia's ability to exert military influence far beyond its borders provided a convincing argument for the policy of the Gulf monarchies to be more prudent.